This is a video of my old 65 Mustang Pro Street car that I built when I was 20 years old. Blown, injected, small block Ford. I was in a lot of shows, and it was in Carcraft magazine, Hot Rod magazine, Super Ford. I was on some calendars and stuff. There's a picture of the motor. You can see the bars that help brace the motor compartment because of the torque of the motor. It's a back shot of the motor from the passenger's view. Here's a shot of the motor. You can see a small tank in the lower left-hand corner. You'll see another picture here in a second. And that helps feed alcohol to the injector. You can see all the hoses and routing I had to run. This is the interior. See the red button on below the dash? That opens and closes the headers while you're driving. So I could open the headers or close them while I was driving the car, which was really cool. This is a picture of me starting the car with gasoline. You had to start it with gasoline. And a back picture of the car. And this is what it can do to Mom's new driveway, which I'm sure she hated. This is a picture of me after I first bought the car and fixed it up when I was 16 years old. This is already, I painted it and the motor and stuff like that, tried to fix it up. I bought the car for $225. This is the way I drove the car to my junior and senior year of high school and the first year that I worked after I graduated. This is a list of what it cost to make the real thing, a blower motor. It was $3,000 for all the parts to build this motor. This motor was featured on the front cover of Engines magazine, just as the picture with the red velocity stacks that just flashed by. This is a picture of the motor as I started trying to improve it and make it look even better because I wasn't happy with the way it looked. This is my first car show that I entered it in Dayton, Ohio, Carl Casper show. This is 1978 Street Machine Nationals put on by Carcraft, and this is the way the car was featured in 7 different magazines. Hot Rod, Carcraft, etc. I still wasn't happy with the car because it was rusty and stuff underneath, so I decided to tear the car apart and completely redo the car. And I did it just after I took those pictures in the front yard that you just saw of the car. This is the car as I started tearing it apart. My mom had an absolute fit. She goes, "I can't believe you tore that car apart." And there I am, 20 years old, tearing the car apart. And there it is, rusty. This is the stuff that I didn't like about the car at the time. Suspension was still rusty. You couldn't see it in the pictures in the magazines, but still. And this is a box full of everything I took out of the dash. And I put a roll cage in the car before I completely gutted the dash. This is the quarter panel. I replaced both quarter panels because they were rusty. Another shot of the roll cage and the subframes that you can see coming up through the floor. This is the quarter panels after I put the new ones back on. This is a picture of a rusty fender after I dug out the Bondo. This is what it looked like. And then this is what it looked like after I welded new metal patches in. I welded new metal patches in everywhere there was rust. This is in the back of my work truck for Sharonville Electric. I took it to Ready Strip where they dip the whole car in a big swimming pool of stripper, and this is the way the car comes out. They spray the stripper off with high pressure sprayers and then put a coating of alkaline on there to keep it from rusting. And this is the way the car came back when I got it from the dippers. There's the fenders and doors and deck lid, and inside and out just like brand new, or starting on, just like on the factory assembly line. This is Green's zinc chromate primer, and I primed the whole car inside and out and underneath to keep it from rusting. The car will never rust with that on there. Picture of me when I was working on it, and this is just right after I sprayed the underneath of the car, the interior, and the motor compartment all with black. I laid on a creeper and rolled around and sprayed that. This is a picture of the rear end, sandblasted. It has all the brackets welded on, and here it is painted, ready to go in the car. Picture of the transmission, same way, sandblasted, cleaned up, and painted, ready to go in the car. When I was done, you could wax the whole underneath the car, drive shaft, transmission, everything. This is the fender wells on the rear quarter, where I had to stretch them for the big tires, the slicks to fit. This is a picture of the car taped up, ready for paint. And you notice the bag goes underneath the car. I had to protect the underneath where I had painted the underneath the car. And here the car is painted, still a little foggy in there, and all the pieces, I painted the fenders and doors separately. You can see them laying there. This is the doors untaped, not buffed or wet sanded. That's it right straight out of the gun. This is the car with started to put it back together. The headliner's hanging down. I was putting the headliner in. This is the front of the car. Well, all the suspension's back on it, real clean. First time I rolled the car outside. You can see my old Volkswagen in the background. That's what I was driving while I was building this car. Paid $90 for that Volkswagen from Robin Humphreys. Starting to put the interior back in. You can see the vertical gate shifter sticking up through the floor. This is the underneath of the car. You could crawl underneath, and like I said, you could wax the car from front to back underneath. This is the back of the car. There's still a few pieces of raw metal there that I hadn't painted yet, but overall it's done. This is the crankshaft, Boss 302 crankshaft, the start of the motor. Howard's aluminum rods and blower pistons. And here's the assembled short block with the aluminum rods in. Setting up the timing on the motor, and you can see the Pete Jackson gear drive and the windage tray, and it had a special Trans Am Racing Mustang oil pan. These are the heads after I got them back. Ported and polished. Oversized Chevy valves in there. The valves are so big they almost touch each other. That was a trick on small block Fords. First time we started the motor with a motor rebuilt. First time running the car with the fuel injector on right here. And this is the first time I drove the car at the Street Machine Nationals again without graphics. This is the first time the car was in a show after it was completed. And this was probably at either Dayton or Cincinnati. I think it was at Dayton here. But this was the first time I showed the car. I put mirrors underneath to show the bottom. This is me with the finished car with graphics on it now. The back of the car. And a final shot of the finished car, and that's the way I drove it. Most people probably remember it like that. That's it. Thank you for watching my video.